Hello, future people watching. Currently, there's no one here, so I'm just getting my camera set. Whew. And I'm gonna chit chat for just a minute before I get started. Whoa. Trying not to start every video by bumping all of the equipment. So far 0 for 0. So, I'm pulling up on my laptop the chat window so I can actually see what's going on. And it'll be good. So, hi. Hello. Hi, Autumn Fox. Welcome. How are you doing this week? So it looks like I need to turn my light down just a little bit. This is total experimental mode. I have no idea if this is going to work. We shall see. I'm glad to hear you're doing well. So my plan for today was to do something that's kind of in my comfort zone, which is drawing faces. I love drawing faces. I have drawn them a lot. In fact, when I was in high school, I had multiple sketchbooks just full of faces because I was obsessed, especially with noses, actually. I haven't drawn as many noses recently, but we're going to start with faces this week as a way to kind of, for me to dip back into actually constructively thinking about how I draw. And I thought it would be fun to have just kind of a theme for our conversation. And I think a good way to start with our conversation is just, what do you guys do to practice? You've always struggled with faces, especially noses? Oh, you're in for a treat, Autumn Fox. That's all we're doing today. So if you have paper and a pencil and bonus points for an eraser, that's all you need for this tutorial. And I need to stop hitting the camera. Oh well. So I'm gonna wait just like another minute or two before I get started. But when I was first learning how to draw, I was lucky enough to have some actual classes at in art classes. And I was taught a lot of life drawing skills in those art classes. So that's how I initially got into drawing faces and things. So I had like one middle school art teacher, Mrs. Anderson, best teacher ever. Actually, I can't even say that. I've had some really amazing teachers over the years, but I really want to thank her because she is a big part of why I still draw. She saw me doodling in my notebooks and stuff and said, hey, this kid has something. And now I draw a lot. So I am going to be teaching you how to draw faces today. I'm going to do that kind of construction style where you break it all down into proportions and shapes so that it makes it easier to get the basics of the face, and then we'll kind of experiment with changing the different features and things like that to try out getting different characters. So I will say, another reason why I really like drawing faces is because I love drawing my friends. And one of the things I did, well, gosh, that was a while ago now, but the big 2,000 subscriber celebration one where I drew a whole bunch of people's selfies and put them all on that big crazy butterfly thing. That was part of it. That was just like, it feels nice to draw faces. And once you get the basics of drawing just the general shape, you can start playing with features and then get, any face. So I'm gonna get started. If anybody tunes in a little bit later, I can always catch them up. So right now I have paper, pencil, eraser, and I'm going to start by just drawing a circle. And I'm going to draw kind of hard, actually. I may end up bringing in colored pencils so that you can see my construction lines. But I would recommend drawing lightly. Hi, Devin. Welcome. I'm teaching people how to draw how to draw faces today. This is week 1 in my experiment of live art lessons. And we'll see how it goes. So I'm starting by drawing a circle you can't see. That's helpful. Let me turn down the light a little bit. Can you guys see that okay? Or is it still too bright? I will draw darker. There we go. This is a lot darker than I would normally draw it. But that's okay. Awesome. All right, I just want to make sure you can actually see the lines, because otherwise this is not useful. So now that I have a circle, I'm going to draw a line going down half of it, both directions. So I have this little personal pan pizza going on. And then the next part is we need to bring down another third. So I'm going to use my pencil to measure what that top and the bottom is, and then make a line down here. So big circle, crosshairs, thirds, one more third down. This right now should be our eye line. Though some people will make this the brows. But I'm going to call this the eyes. So this line is for eyes. Then I'm going to make another line going off across the bottom of this circle. And I'm going to draw a line going halfway in between these two. And then another line going halfway in between these. Wow, we're really good at drawing grids now. Good job! I swear, this gets better. So this top line is our hairline. I should probably not write in cursive, because my cursive is super messy, so let me at least attempt to write legibly. That would be helpful. Eyes. This one is our lips. No, wait. I'm forgetting my own steps. That one's our nose. This is our nose. And this is our lips. So another line in between here is our lips. And this is the chin. So now that we've got all these, I may rearrange these a little bit, but we'll see. I always start with the eyes, and I actually start by drawing a little football shape in the middle there. And then I draw the exact same width, like this, over here, and then over there. That way these lines are about equidistant. If I took more time with measuring, this would work even better. And then I'm going to draw another football shape in between here. Oh, I know why I messed up. This is the chin. Good Lord. I forgot where the bottom of my dang circle was. And this is why this is experimental lessons. So yeah, that's our nose. Halfway down is lips. And then slightly above this line is our chin. There we go. Now I'm on track. So I'm going to draw down here and connect my chin line up to the top. So I'm making basically a little rectangle here, and I'm going to redo the eyes because I was not drawing with the full face in mind. Nailed it! Alright, so now that we have our eyes, our nose, our lips, and our chin lines, we're ready to actually start doing details. So I am still going to draw these lemon shapes. I'm going to make them a little bit bigger. I tend to draw a line straight down from in between the eyes. And then right at that line, I'll draw 3 circles. One bigger one in the center and 2 smaller ones on either side. That's the base for the nose. And I may be getting ahead of myself, so I'm going to go back up to the eyes and just focus on the eyes for a minute. So with the eyes, they can look pretty strange once you get started. Because I'm basically drawing what they would look like without eyelids first. So it's the big oval shape here, a circle in the middle, and that's a little terrifying right now. That's why we have eyelids. So I'm coming down, creating a little curve over top. Now they look a little bit calmer, a little bit less cray-cray. I'm going to bring up the head a little bit higher. Okay, so I'm definitely drawing a dude, is how I'm feeling right now. So I'm going to erase the tops of these eyelids. And you look super sleepy right now, so I'm going to bring this lower eyelid up. Upper eyelid down a little bit more. And now I've got some good basic shapes here. I'm actually bringing down the circles of the eyes a little bit so that if they were still full, they would actually be cut off by those little eyelid lines. The next thing I tend to do is draw a circle, well, an oval really, connecting from one side of the eye to the other, and draw around the whole thing. And this is helpful because now I have somewhere to draw the eyebrows. So since I've decided this is a dude, I am curving up here where the inner corner of the eye is, and then arcing around the curve of that circle. I'm just going to fill that in so we can see it a little bit better. Check it out, there's an eyebrow. So I'm going to do the same thing, bring this line up, draw this line here, and I'm going to curve around where I drew that arc and bring in the eyebrow. I made this eyebrow a little bit bigger than the others, so I'm just going to plump that guy up a little bit. And I know I mentioned this in the last video, or at least I think I did. Well, not the last video. In a recent video, I mentioned watching makeup tutorials has helped me with drawing faces, especially eyebrows, because I just see how they draw their eyebrows on their own face. I'm like, oh, that's how that works. Got it. All right, so now let's deal with these sleepy, creepy eyes. I'm getting rid of my circles on top, and I'm bringing in just a little bit on the top on either side, following the curve of these eye shapes, and that is creating some of the eyelid. So I'm going to clean up the inside a little bit again. And now I'm going to draw a circle inside the circle, and that's the iris. I usually leave a little smaller circle up here. I tend to draw slightly more cartoony, so this isn't a super realistic version, but you know, we all have our own little styles, and that is part of the fun. So now that I have these 2 inner circles, I'm going to fill these in, leaving that upper circle clear, And that is the eye. This is a very wide, starry-eyed looking individual right now. And if I'm going too fast, let me know. Just like type random letters into the chat and I'll know I'm going too fast. So I'm going to pause for a second and tweak these eyeballs a little bit because they're a little too big and I'd like them to look a little bit calmer. The wider the eyes, the more surprised someone will look. And I want this person to look a little bit chiller than that kind of creepy eye going. I guess, you know, I do have a problem with drawing things just a little creepy a lot of the time. But, you know, that's because I draw a lot of horror stuff still. Oh, awesome. You're good taking notes. Great. That's perfect. All right, there we go. I like that a little bit better. So now I'm going to erase that center oval. And I'm going to follow the edge of the nose down a little bit. And just add a little bit of shading under here. So that has a little bit more shape. Next is our nose. So we already drew these little circles. I'm going to make them a little bit bigger and a little bit lower. Because I don't exactly like where I drew that line. So just cleaning it up a little bit. Here we go. Alright. Big circle in the center. Two smaller circles that are very close to either side, on either side. And then underneath, I start with a little curve between where these two circles connect on both sides. And then follow the bottom edge of that circle nose. Centered nose there. Then I'll hit around the sides of these side nostrils, going a little bit under, curling around the side, under, curling around the side, and then I'll usually hit right about here and then erase my construction lines again. So this is a basic kind of button nose look. If I want to make it more masculine, I can make the nostrils more rectangular and bring out the nose bridge a little bit more. And then shade in this a little bit. That's that nose shading that all the beauty gurus do these days. Nose contour. Haha. And I'm going to add a little bit of shading over here as well. All right. Hello, my sleepy friend. So now that I have kind of a sleepy looking dude, I'm going to keep tweaking the corners of his eyes because they're apparently bothering me right now. I'm also going to erase these bags under his eyes. So those construction lines we used, that's actually a really good way to make older people too. Hi, Scott. Welcome. Thank you. So if I want to make someone look older, I can add some of those little bit of bags under there. Or if I want them to look really tired, just bring those lines under there, and that's how I can make someone go from like, oh hey, I'm fresh and clean, to, oh, I need coffee. Me, on a daily basis. Okay, so now we've got some eyes and a nose. And I'm going to draw a triangle coming down from the nose to our lip line. And I'm going to draw a line coming down from either side of the eyes, the outer corners of the eyes, and drop a line all the way down to the lip line. And we don't want our mouth to go any wider than that because then it's going to look terrifying. So if you really want to get a Cheshire Cat grin, you make it go out beyond those eyes. I've definitely made these eyes a little bit bigger than is like normally human, but I tend to do that a lot. So you're getting my style tutorial. So actually, I'm going to bring my mouth no wider than the center of my eyes. So creepy smiles all the way out to the outer corners. More natural looking ones, center of the eyes. Now I'm going to start by adding a little bit of a Cupid's bow, dragging a line down to my lip line, and the little tack marks I made for the corners of the mouth. And then as I come into the middle, right under the Cupid's bow, you add a little dip, and then come out and back. And then we add a little curve of the lips underneath. Now what's cool about this face that I have been drawing is the structure of it looks a little bit more African to me because of the bigger eyes and the bigger lips and the bigger nose. And there's lots of different ways to change the race of a face, and that could be something we get into maybe next time. Hey, Desert Artworks! But generally for men, or at least Caucasian men, we don't see a lot of their upper lip, and their lips are generally a little bit smaller. So I'm going to bring this in even more because I can, and make a smaller lip. And then I'm just going to shade in where that upper lip would go. And there we go. I'm going to give him a little smirk. Just bring up the corner of the mouth a little bit. And he's got a little bit of a smirk going on there. I like this dude. I like how he's coming out. Okay, so now we're going to clean up the edges of the face a little bit. And I'm going to come down here. Where this circle started to come in, that's a good place where you can add some cheekbones. And then I'm going to clean up the jawline. He has a very strong jaw, this fellow. Very strong jaw. Bring that in here, and then go back in and start cleaning up some of these lines so I can actually see what I'm doing. Erase some of my construction lines over here as well. As well? Why am I saying well? I don't know. Seemed like a good idea. Thanks, Anita! So I'm bringing this jaw in, making a nice big chin. We'll give him like a nice chunky chin. Add a little shading underneath that bottom lip to make the chin look a little bit more pronounced. And then bringing it in, and there we go. So that's most of the face. Where the heck do the ears go? Well, the ears go below the eye line and above the nose line. So I make a little squished oval on either side. And there we go. We've got, yeah, that going. I'm actually going to bring the ears a little bit lower because I'm feeling that right now. And then I'm going to add a little bit of a curl underneath the top ear over here. A little swoop. Not sure what to call that shape. Little like rounded triangle. If I were to draw that bigger, it would look like this. That's the ear shape. And now I'm going to bring up his forehead. And this seems a little low for the hairline on this character, so I'm going to bring it up a little bit. Go a little bit higher. Go all the way across. And bring it here. I'm going to go out a little because it's hair. And I'm going to add some some height to it over here and add some squiggles over here. And oh my goodness, I feel like I just drew Bo from She-Ra. That wasn't intentional, but I'm okay with it. So now I'm erasing some of those guidelines, and I'm just gonna do some circular scribbles for the hair. And there are lots and lots of ways to draw hair, because there's so many types of hair out there too. But I feel like drawing scribbles today. I want to bring in that sideburn area a little bit. Give him some stronger cheekbones. And finish scribbling the hair. Now it's time for ASMR scribbles. Wow. I want to give him even more hair, because now I can't get over the fact that he looks like Bo. He's definitely one of my favorite She-Ra characters. I will say one thing that's very interesting about drawing from the angle I currently am drawing at is every time I look over at the computer screen, I can tell I am doing some strange things with the perspective, because from my point of view, this looks perfect. So one tip for when you're drawing, make sure you're drawing straight on. I haven't quite figured out how to get my camera to be recording at an angle that's helpful for you without doing crookedness for me. I don't know. I'll figure it out eventually. Every week, a new experiment, a new adventure. All right, so now we've got Bo. I'm gonna give him even more of a smile because he's a cutie. There we go. And then if you want to draw a thick neck, you go right down from where the jawline is. If you want to do a medium-sized neck, you go about halfway between the jaws. Actually, that's a little bit more narrow. But for Bo, he's got a little bit more of a thinner neck. So I'm going to go in a little bit, bring it down, put those muscles there, and then add a little shading. There we go. So that's how to draw a male face. And I'm just going to erase some of these construction lines. And see what we have to work with. And normally I do draw a lot lighter when I'm doing these construction lines. I want them to be as delicate as possible. Or I will even use a erasable colored pencil, like with blue lead, and use that for my construction lines. And then that makes it even easier to see what you're doing versus just seeing a lot of scribbly lines. Now I'm just adding some more shading. I want to follow the edges of the features a little bit. And I want to bring back that Cupid's bow by adding a little shade there and off to the side. I usually will go over the lines in the areas that would be the darkest if light were hitting it. So if my light source was over here, I would want to make sure to hit the left-hand side of everything to make it a little bit more dimensional. I'll also do some scribbles in the hair just to give that some shape. Hit the forehead a little bit. And I usually want to try and shade in the inner part of the ear as well. And there you go. That is male face. So we've got another 15 minutes. So I'm going to do a female face just for good measure. And that will have been the first attempt at live art tutorials. So I'm starting again with, thanks Autumn Fox. I like how he came out. He really looks like Bo. I definitely draw most faces while looking at a reference, so I actually have a hard time kind of inventing faces a lot of the time, which is part of why I always ask people for pictures of their faces so I can draw them. But now I'm going to draw a quick female face. I'm still starting with the circle and then drawing the crosshairs, taking this down here and adding another line. This time I'm going to draw my lines down from either side and connect them just above that chin line with a softer curve, and that will make a more feminine looking face. I also realized that most people would draw this here, but I really like higher foreheads for some reason, so I'm actually going to bring this up another half. So here's our eyes. Halfway down is the nose. Halfway down from that are the lips. Halfway up here is the hair. So eyes, hair, goodness gracious. I always default to cursive. Eyes, nose, lips, and chin. So now I've got this general shape. A little bit of an alien head because I really like taller foreheads. I don't know. I also love cursive. But not everyone can read it, so I, need to not do that all the time. I'm tilting this just a little so I can straighten out my drawing a little bit more. Hey, there we go. Okay. So now I've got that. I'm going to draw my football in the middle of the face. Same size eggs or footballs on either side. Going to draw my oval around those football eyes. And then the circle inside the middle for the irises. Adding the eyelid over top. Making sure to cross the top of that inner circle. And this time I want to have her looking up this direction. So I'm actually going to tilt that center circle over to the side a little bit. Just to change how she's looking at the world. I'm going to draw some little eyelids around those football shapes that I created before. And then I'm going to draw the bottom half of them, which I'll probably bring up a little bit in a little while. This one's definitely smaller than the other. Let's make that a little bit bigger. There we go. All right. For women, eyebrows generally are a little bit thinner, but we still follow the top curve of that construction circle to find where we want our eyebrows to land. I would like to give her a more quizzical look, so I'm going to bring one eyebrow down a little bit lower and then go a little bit higher than that circle on this side. Still following the same shape, but just higher. I'm bringing it out over here. Now I'm going to draw the inner circle and leave another little circle for the white of the eye and fill that middle circle in. Again, do another inner circle, little circle for the white of the eye and fill that in. And then give a little bit more depth around the eyelids by just adding another line of lead on top there. Going to erase some of my construction lines so I can see what I'm working with. And then for women, for the eyelashes, I usually just add a few right off the edge there. And you don't want them to be like equidistant. You want them to be a little erratic and soft and fluffy. This one looks like she's wearing falsies, which is cool. I like false eyelashes. Don't wear them very often though, because I don't really like putting glue on my eyes. They always look cool when I do it. So she has big fluffy eyelashes. I'm going to drop some lines down from the inner corners of the eyes again, down to where the nose is. I'm going to draw that center circle, two smaller circles, start with a half curve in between the two circles on either side, and drop down a nose, following the edges of the lines that I just drew. I'm going to keep her with a little button nose. And for women, rather than drawing a sharp line like we did with the male figure, we can do a softer curve and not drop it down all the way. So I'm going to erase some of these construction lines, get rid of the bags under her eyes. We have a little bit of a face starting. I love drawing eyes. Eyes are so much fun. I agree. They are fascinating. The main trick with any eye that you draw, make sure there's some light in it. If there's no light, you have demon eyes, which is also a benefit, you know? Depends on what you're drawing. So I'm going to go from the nostrils here and down, creating a little triangle. Actually, I could probably start closer for her. That way the features will be a little bit narrower. So I'm going to drop it in, not from the nostrils, but a little bit closer to the actual center line, and drop that down to where the lip line is. I'm going to make my lip line a little bit above here, and I'm going to drop my line down from the center of the eyes on either side. Going a little bit up, starting with that little half curve, and then bringing down some lips. And this one, I'm going to give her a little bit of a frown. Like, she's really just confused as to what we're talking about right now. Curving up, dipping a little dip where that, what is that called? I don't know, but that little dip in the lip, little lip dip. And adding some little tick marks at the corners of her mouth to show that little frown line. And then I'm going to give her a nice big bottom lip. because that's fun to draw. So now I'm going to come down, and about where this line is, I'm going to curve in a little line that's the cheekbones. I'm going to thin out her jawline because I feel like it. And just drop that in and give her a shorter chin than I had initially been planning. Because that's what feels good. To me right now, that is what feels good. There is a lot of stuff you can do to change up a character's design. Just changing the jawline can do a huge amount for who this person is. So maybe I'll give her a little bit of a smirk as well. I love drawing little smirks on people. Also, just gives them a little personality. So that feels pretty good to me. Okay. So now below the ear line and above the nose line is the ear. Little curve following that line down here, and a little reverse, well, that's like a C shape down here. And then that creates the lobe. I'm going to shade that in a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing over here. A little squashed oval on the side, following the curve there. Now it's a reverse C shape, and scribble that in. There we go. I'll give her some earrings for ha-has. And I'm kind of feeling loop earrings right now, so I'm going to do that. Going to do that on both sides. Going to attempt to make them even. There we go. And let's give her a little bit of a cleft chin. Bringing her jaw in a little bit more. And I'm going to erase some of these construction lines now. I don't quite like her nose this wide, so I'm going to narrow it down a little bit. One of the nice things about sketching hard is I can still see where my initial lines were. So now I can just draw it right back over where it was, but just a little bit further in. If I want to give her a sharper looking nose, I can narrow those nostrils and do not that shape, but a little bit of a line at the top of where the nostrils would go. Whole top of her nose. I love drawing button noses though, that is a problem. Isn't that amazing how you can just change an entire character with a nose? Check this out. Let's go really big with this nose. I love it. Anyway, I would love to draw some more noses, just noses in general. So I'm gonna bring in a little bit of a nostril over here and there, and then shade that out a little bit. Bring that nose back. There we go. Pretty sure I just drew the same nose again, but for some reason I like this better. Now I've got my hairline here. If she were wearing bangs, which why not? Let's give her some bangs. This is where I would put the bangs and bring it up a little bit more on the side. And let's see, what kind of hairdo? Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go up here, add a little bit of volume off to the sides. I'm going to curve in on the edges here for more hair and just fill this out a little bit. And now I'm going to draw a little circle, some little leaf shapes, little curve in between, bisect that circle. Ta-da! She's wearing a bandana. So I'm going to get rid of some construction lines so I can sketch in this hair a little bit more. And I usually start at the bottom to add a little texture, breaking up the line a little bit. And then I'll go back in near the top and add some more. With hair, it's best to leave some suggestion of the line rather than drawing every single hair in. So if you just do like patches of scribbles, it'll look more like hair. All right, for her jaw, or neck rather, I want to drop it down here maybe. Curve that out. That's a very narrow neck. Let's bring it out a little bit more. I would love to do a stream on different noses. I can do that next week if you'd like. Just all noses, all next week. You can just experiment with what noses do. You said nose, and I'm suddenly like, oh, I want to draw this nose again. So for next week, I'll actually gather a bunch of references so I can really look at what noses look like and draw a bunch of them for you. So I'm adding a little bit of shading under her cheekbones. I'm changing her chin again, making it smaller, and making a more curvy, smooth jawline. There we go. I like that better. She looks younger now. Smoother jawlines, rounder jawlines generally make someone look younger. Alright, here's a neck. A little bit of that, a little bit of that. And we have our lady friend. I want to make some little cat eyeliner out here because she feels kind of rockabilly to me now. Alright, there we go. So, was this helpful? Was this an okay way to learn some techniques as far as drawing goes? Definitely curious. I have so many plans for things that we can do in the future, other tutorials. I want to do some on drawing hands. Wow, I'm so sorry. I have so much paint in my fingernails right now. Also all over my arm. I paint a lot. Yes, okay, awesome. So next week, I think, by request of Autumn Fox, we're going to do some noses. And I think it would be really cool if you guys do practice any of these construction line things. If you draw anything using this technique, send it to me on Twitter, and I will figure out. I'll probably print them out actually and share with you guys in the stream next week what you created from this tutorial this week. And I think that would be really cool. So this was how to draw just basic, straightforward faces. We'll do noses next week, and we'll go from there. I do have some ideas for doing like art challenges / tutorials, but that's not a fully baked idea just yet. So this was kind of a short and sweet, an hour-long short and sweet. Yeah, hour-long short and sweet stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Anita, Autumn Fox, Dixon. Hi, Dixon. Desert Artworks, and Devin. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for joining me. And whew, next week, hopefully I'll be a little bit less nervous. I do fully admit when I first started, like, clicked that record button or stream button. Whoa, I got so nervous. I don't know why. Her lip needs to be bigger. Whoa, that's a new person there. Okay. Anyway, thank you guys for stopping by, learning some stuff with me. I will see you next week. Same time, 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Live art lessons. I'll see you next week. Bye!